I normally don't do wrestling recaps, but given time constraints, I'm willing to go through with this. As I recap MLW's Fantastica Mania USA Part 1. And I say Part 1 because this was pre-taped several months ago, so weeks or months ago. So, yeah. Took a while for MLW to get this onto YouTube. Anyway, live from Charleston, North Charleston, South Carolina, we started off with a fatal four-way between Templatio, Taiji Shimori, Alex Angels, and Kushida for the MLW World Middleweight Championship. The match in itself was pretty good. You had a lot of high-flying spots that you expect from these four. Good technical game. And shockingly, a clean win by Kushida, but he doesn't hold to it that long. Brief handshake by Templario saying he'll give him a rematch, kicks him in the gut, beats him down, and strips his mask. And then we get the interruption from the Serpent, the head honcho of Contra. Quick gripe with this. MLW, you're not being subtle as to who the Serpent is. Even with a fucking voice distorter tool. I know, and the MLW universe knows the Serpent's not somebody new. It's fucking Joseph Samael, back from the dead, so to speak, after being gone for the better part of the last 4 years on camera for one reason. Hang on. Anyway, came back on topic. Even with a fucking voice distorter tool, I know it's Samael. You're not fooling anybody, let alone me. Alas, Dr. Pepper clone. Hello, Tyler. We then had SoFly Manny Lowe against LeBron Kazone or Kazone, however you pronounce it. I'm more familiar with LeBron from his time in Deadlock before it went belly up last year. This match was pretty good. It was good in its own right. It was a classic power versus speed matchup. It was what you expect. Very good, but Basically, Manny Lowe just couldn't overcome LeBron's power and got leveled with the game day lariat. For the 1-2-3, it was good. We get a segment with K-Zone talking with Satoshi Kojima, who's got his Bread Club shirt on and a basket of bread with him. Saying about maybe forming a tag team with the legend. Especially now that Cozy Max is dead due to Okamura during Contra unit. And then we get the main event of the Skyscrapers versus the Contra Mercs in 6-man tag. This was chaotic as you would expect, but then the ending comes and we have a new Contra soldier, and it's Big Damo, who's been bouncing around the independents ever since being let go by the WWE. He basically removes Kruger from the equation, leaving Gallows and Anderson on their own to get beat. One, two, three. I mean, it's what you expect. And with this feud between the Good Brothers and the Skyscrapers. Do I think the MLW will allow the Good Brothers to become MLW World Tag Team Champions? I really don't think so. Mostly because look at everywhere else the Good Brothers have won tag gold. TNA, the WWE, New Japan, and in Anderson's case, Pro Wrestling Noah. Sure you do, Ty. Having said that, how long is it until Samael returns and reveals his ugly head as the puppeteer of Contra like he was in 2019? And in all honesty, he still is the puppeteer of Contra. I mean, you're not, again, you're not really fooling me. I can recognize the voice even with the distortion, with the distorter tool. And look at the soldiers Contra's rounded up over the years since they came into MLW in 2019. Jacob, both have come and have gone. Jacob fought to Kiro Kwan, Simon Gotch, the members of the Sentai Death Squad, Minoru Suzuki, Janai Kai, and this year alone, Kushida, Omasa's former lieutenant, whose name always escapes me, Okamura, Shigeo Okamura, and now Big fucking Damo. This really is the wrestling equivalent of a terrorist cell. Of a jihadist terrorist cell. So how do you stop it? You flat out murder it. Cut the head of the snake clean off. In this case, incapacitate Samael where he can never come back. But they're also a cancer that needs to be cut from the company. I mean, we all deep down, we all knew that Akira Kwan wasn't smart enough or cunning enough to keep Contra running on his own, with or without Max Kruger. Yeah, the title match was dope, I'll admit. So next week is Fantastica Mania USA Part 2. And looking back over it, who did show up for this event as a whole, we still haven't seen. Well, we are going to see Okamura turn on Kojima at some point in this. We have yet to see Doki back when he was IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion. El Desperado hasn't shown up yet. Oh, wait, that was last year's Fantastica Mania. So yeah, next week will be part 2 of Fantastica Mania. Or at least the quote-unquote fusion episodes that got taped from Festival Hall in Charleston, South Carolina. Let's see, Festival Hall. Makes sense that it's small enough to where MLW can infiltrate it, but not big, but at the same time big enough to where it doesn't interfere. Who attacked Trevor Lee? I don't know. Next week is Lady Frost against Scarlett and Shotzi. If it is for the MLW featherweight title, fine. As far as I'm concerned with how this played out tonight, it's what you expect. I give this show about a 6.5 out of 10. But the problem with MLW is that it just repeats some of the same beats too many. And I find it kind of sad for. And remember, this is a company that last year moved their headquarters from New York City to Charleston, South Carolina because of rent taxes. Why do I find it sad? Because while they're more nationally known than any of the other promotions that have tried to build up in the Carolinas prior to and since COVID, that's gone belly up, like PWX and Deadlock, and now basically stand alone as a quote unquote super indie alongside Game Changer here in the States. The Major League Wrestling promotions got to be careful with that. I mean, sure, you can go to your other home base spots that you've developed over the years, like Brooklyn, Chicago, Atlanta, Dallas. in and around Orlando. I mean, Fort Lauderdale. They're usual hot spots. But if they try to go too far out, like they did with LA for Battle Riot 7, Tyler, you do realize that essentially Juggalo Championship Wrestling is a sister promotion to Game Changer, right? Point is, MLW's got to be careful because if you've looked at the past with Carolina-based wrestling promotions that set themselves up in the Carolinas, once they stretch their horizons out to outside territories they hadn't established themselves in, fans in this area will feel like that's a stab in the back. I know. That's what I was warning you. That's what I was trying to tell you. There's in 2024, there was a PBS documentary that aired in my neck of the woods called When Giants Walked Here. A docu-film that basically focused on the old Dorton Arena in Raleigh and how from the 60s through the 80s, it was basically the hot spot for NWA and Jim Crockett Promotion Wrestling. But in the late 80s and into the 90s, when Crockett sold the property to Ted Turner, both Crockett tried to spread NWA influence outside of the Mid-South, Mid-Southeast, to other portions of the country to compete with the WWE, and then sold the promotion to Ted Turner. Fans felt like that was a stab in the back, and it would be almost over 2 decades before wrestling came back to the Dorton Arena in 2016. Then they had another show 6 years later. And for those wondering, as far as I know, it only aired, that special. Oh, they purchased Jersey Championship. But that's probably in a nutshell what I worry about with Major League Wrestling moving from New York to South Carolina. They want to establish a loyal fan base in the Carolinas. Why not do a few more shows, not just at where they held Fantastica Mania this year in Charleston, South Carolina, but also bring a couple of shows either to the Cabarrus Arena or back to the Grady Cole Center or in the Queen City area here in North Carolina. Or hell, put one in the Dorton Arena. We can get a damn AC unit into that building in Raleigh. And what state would that be, Tyler? Arizona, huh? A bit of a problem with that. There's not really many small venue arenas in Arizona they could use that I know of. And last time I remember any legit indie doing a show out in Phoenix, in the Phoenix area, was was the Ring of Honor WrestleMania weekend events in that area in 2010, if I remember correctly. Oh, one other place I forgot that MLW started to establish a foothold in was the 2300 in Philadelphia. So can't believe I forgot about that one. But with how many, but with how much MLW has to climb up, how much MLW's got to climb uphill, it's going to be a large and long and arduous climb for what's basically at this point the number 4 promotion in the country. At least to me, it's the number 4 promotion in the U.S. Well behind TNA at 3, AEW at 2, and the WWE at number 1. But good luck to Major League Wrestling. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'm Mets2128. Goodbye. Good night. Bang. And may the sports be with you always.